Go ahead, Sam.
Like with the portal now and the two portal windows, what does it take to kind of manage the roster and scholarships when you have this kind of roaming 6-week portal window that we're only halfway in?
Yeah, I think it's challenging, but it depends on your philosophy and what the head coach and Coach Pryor wants to do. And our philosophy and strategy is, we're going to be foundationally based on our high school kids and our footprint, and then we're going to fill the needs that we need to fill based on the portal and if there's a need at a position, there's a gap in the roster, then we'll attack the portal that like we need to. The challenge with the portal is it hits all at one time now. So you have, over 1,000 kids hit the portal at one time. So you have to have a plan of attack when that day comes. I think it was December 5th this year that it hit. And then it still goes on until January, but there's a dead period that you got to abide by. Now they give you that January 4th to 8th period that you can bring guys in, but still, there's still that dead period that you're not allowed time to bring them in. But I think our staff collectively did a really good job having a plan, knowing the positions that we wanted, and bringing those kids in. And obviously, we already signed four of those guys. And again, we're not flipping our roster with a ton of transfer guys. It's foundationally built on our high school kids, and then, like I said, we'll fill the needs as we need to by the transfer portal.
And then kind of on that second point as well, we've seen places like USC and others who are going heavy on the transfer, try to, I guess, go for the more immediate. What was the importance about going, say, this class with about 25-4 split so far in terms of high school versus some that might have done 18 and 12?
Well, yeah, no, that's a good question. I think that goes back to what Coach Price said, where we're going to build our roster and get things back to how it used to be based off of the Virginia kids and our footprint kids. All right, and that's getting these high school kids. It's not flipping the roster based on portal guys. Now, and with the way that the portal is these days, you want kids here that love Virginia Tech. That know Virginia Tech, know the brand, so that when times get difficult, it's going to be difficult for them to leave, because they love this place. They have connections. Their parents went here. Their grandparents went here. So you're going to still stick to the high school kids, and then the portal's second.
Steve, and we'll go Dave.
When you didn't have you had lost the last game and you had bowl preparation, what were you able to take advantage of on the recruiting side in that time?
Yeah, so you don't have a bowl game, so that allows you to really attack the road and recruiting, because now you don't have to worry about bowl practice, obviously, right? So we had a really good strategy going in those 16 days for the contact period to get on the road, to make sure that we lock down those commits that we have. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise that we didn't have to worry about bowl practices and the kids. There was that dead period built in that was new this year. So Coach Pryor was allowed to meet with the players, the current players right now. He was very transparent with them. Those meetings were really good. All those guys came out of those meetings, feeling good about the situation, whether they're going to stay here or move on. And then that allowed us to have those 4 days to get ready to hit the road. And it was a grind. It was a grind for Coach and all the 10 assistant coaches. Usually, when we'd have these Thursday night games or we have a bye week, that Friday is a grind for these guys. By the time, they're starting at 8 in the morning and they're going to games and leaving around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and they're dead. Well, that was 16 days straight, essentially. They'd go 2 days, and then you had an official visit, right? And the official visits are a grind. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're done. Then they're out. They're on the road, and then they're hitting the road for 5 days straight. Then it's official visits again, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they're hitting the road again. Then it was hitting the road till Friday, and then finish it off with another official visit weekend. So these guys were done. But back to your question, not having that bowl game was huge for us.
Tennessee, I asked Brent, Tennessee's big focal point. What, from your perspective, what made Tennessee such a big, I guess, big success for you guys? I know obviously a lot of connections there from Sean and Brent and Derek and everybody that's worked there in the past, but it seems like that's not necessarily a place that Virginia Tech's had a ton of success in recent past.
Right. I think when we got here, you have to, and I've talked to you, a couple of you guys about this, the hardest thing to do is establish your footprint. How are you going to attack the area, right? So you look at your area and you look at it from a 3 to 5 hour radius. All right, well, Tennessee covers a lot of that 3 to 5 hour radius of going all the way to Nashville, all right? And the connections is one thing, combined with when you go into these schools and these coaches are going to these schools and the relationships with them, they just relate a lot to Virginia Tech. So it's not like a foreign place when they come here. They're like, oh, Chance Fitzgerald, when he came here, it's like, man, I didn't think it was going to be like this, you know, because it just reminded him a lot of where he's from. So, and then we're thinking, you know, well, man, we need to really hit Nashville and Tennessee, maybe even more. And that's something we're going to look at coming into the next cycle, to maybe get another guy there, another area recruiter, so we can hit the ground running. Because right now we have Chris, Marv in Nashville, and obviously Sean does a really good job in the Knoxville area. But typically during the in-season, you know, coordinators can't get on the road because they're at the hotel. And that's a crucial time to get guys on the road to evaluate in-season games and whatnot. So we're looking to maybe get another person in there to help, because I think we can really do well in that area, as you can see. You know, because we were kind of late with Mose and Chance, but those kind of kids are going to help us win games. They relate, their families, their coaches, they're awesome.
What all went into the big signing day festivities and everything today? How cool was that from your perspective? Have you been involved with something like that previously? And what do you think it means and does to recruits that, you know, are part of this class, that when, you know, the 2024 class comes along, they can say, look, this is how special, this is how you're going to be treated, kind of use this as an example going forward? Yeah,
no, good question. This day is one of my favorite days of the year, because all that work, all that grinding, from faculty to administration to our staff to my staff, it makes it worth it. You know, and so this celebration is not just for them, it's for us, for the faculty, it's for everybody. And the fact that we get to capture it in its first class is important, because now we're going to have that content to be able to show the 24 class, the 25 class. Look, this is how we treat our guys. You know, this is how we want to operate. We want to be genuine, and they see that when coaches on those Zoom calls. You know, it's emotional, it's genuine, and we're going to show those guys, because come spring, from March to basically the end of June, it's a straight run. We may have a couple visitors here every day. We're going to show them that stuff, because we want them to get a really clear picture of what we're about. And I think days like today really helps us.
Last one for Tim, and then we'll go to Zoom.
Mike, you know, Brent mentioned that Kyron Drones, there are 4 quarterbacks you were looking at, and Drones was the guy that kind of stood out the most. What made Drones the guy that you wanted to go after? And then take us a little inside the process of getting Drones, because it seemed like it was a rather 48-hour surge from Tyler Bowen flying to Texas to Drones coming to campus and sealing the deal.
Yeah, I think the quarterback position, well, your original question that you had, the first question about the portal and the challenges, well, the challenge is he wasn't in there, right? And a lot of these schools now, you have to target guys that are maybe second on the depth chart but are really good players. And, you know, he fell into that category. You know, he may be a guy that goes in the portal. And if he does, we want to be able to jump on it. So we have a board of guys that are just guys that aren't in the portal technically, but so when he hit the portal, he was able to get in the plane, be one of the first guys there, and that went a long way with Kyron. When you talk to him, that Coach Bowen was there first day that he was in the portal, was able to set up the visit, brought him here. It was first class for him. Got to meet everybody, showed him everything, and showed him the situation. Very transparent with him, and he liked it enough to commit, and we couldn't be more thrilled about him. Great family, great kid. Really excited about him.
And what made Drones that guy?
Well, I think his ability to hurt you on the ground, his arm. I think he's a smart player. If you go back to his high school film, he was a phenomenal player. So all those things combined with his intangibles, the way that he carries himself, you can tell he's going to be a leader. The guys are going to follow him. Just an all-around good kid. He's going to be a good player, good skill set.
We'll finish up with a couple on Zoom.
On Zoom, can we go to Tim, please?
Hey, Mike, you guys have talked a lot about how important the footprint is to you, especially within the Commonwealth. Did you guys initially face any almost resistance of guys who kind of said, hey, we've heard this before, we'll believe it when we see it? Virginia Tech has maybe not done a super good job in the last few years of recruiting the Commonwealth, and then what was the reaction from some of those people when you guys, I guess, put your money where your mouth was in terms of the attention that you gave and the visits that you took?
Yeah, you know what? I don't think I never got a sense of any backfire or resistance at all, because I think we really hit the ground running. I think any of you guys obviously follow us close enough that we did a lot of travel clinics. So we went in on the hotbeds in the state and made sure that we were going out there, reaching out to them, having dinner with these guys, talking football with these guys, making sure that they understood that we're being genuine. All right, we want to take care of the state and their kids, because that's how we're going to get back to what it was back in the day. And then on top of that, that was a February kind of strategy that we did, and it was really good. Then when spring came, we had to make sure that every coach hit every school in the state. All 10 coaches represent an area in the state. And they had to make sure that they hit every school. There was some challenges because I think up 81 there was an ice storm or something like that, but that hurt us a little bit. But other than that, we still got to the schools. But there hasn't been any resistance, and obviously now with a little bit of momentum, we look to carry that on to the 24 class and keep building on what we did this year.
Any final questions on Zoom for Mike? Okay, Mike, thank you for your time.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.